This week, Costing the Earth is in Manhattan. We're here because temperatures in cities are rising much faster than the global average.
By the 2050s, we could have something like 3 to 4 degrees of warming Fahrenheit. And then as we get out to the 2080s, temperatures could rise by 4 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, it's a full-fledged assault on the system, I think, in some sense.
And with that comes a lot of problems. Not just getting mad, but getting sick. The greater the heat, the more people will die.
There is some evidence of increased irritability and violent acts during heat waves. That is a phenomenon that perhaps contributes another element to the riskiness that occurs during heat waves.
And New York is not the only city forecast a sweatier future. Urban centres across the world are expected to feel the heat in decades to come.
On an average, we're talking of deaths of about 8 to 10 people per day per degree increase above the threshold temperature.
Besides here, we'll be visiting London and Milan, where the walls are sprouting leaves to make sure the Milanese don't lose their cool. It's a well-known fact that there tends to be greater mortality when it's hot. If you look at heat waves in Britain or indeed the rest of Europe, famously hundreds or sometimes even thousands more people can die. But actually linking that with what might happen in terms of heat in our cities is quite tricky. But this year a strong paper came out on that subject, and I'm with one of the authors, Patrick Kinney, here on 8th Avenue in New York. Patrick, why, first of all, do people die in greater numbers when it's hot?
The problem from a health point of view is when one's body temperature gets to a level that is too high to sustain life. You go through a series of sort of increasing risk to the point where you eventually get to something called heat stroke, which is basically a kind of a breakdown of some of the basic bodily functions, and it's pretty rapidly deadly. An older person, a person with pre-existing disease that limits their regulatory ability of their own body temperature, will get to an unhealthy level more quickly. If you look during a heat event, you'll see that there's a spike in deaths, but only a fraction will be actually called heat stroke, because people are dying because of the heat, but in terms of death certificate, they'll be listed as a cardiac death or a cancer death. We tend to undercount, really, the heat impact on mortality.
What you're saying is, in effect, heat may be administering, well, the coup de grace on an existing condition.
Yeah, oftentimes that's the case.
So what did your paper suggest in terms of what we might expect if we continue emitting as we are today?
It's estimating about a 50% increase in heat-related deaths by the 2050s.
50%?
50. Now,